it's a fun thing. I always look at this morning as a bit of a gift. Just creating the space. I was away on retreat in Malaga last week, and it was very interesting listening to various people talk about practice and how many different practices were in the room. People who are just drawn to nature. It seems to be the only way that they really feel they can quieten down the racing mind, and others who do things like meditation. Quite a few people have been doing breath work, I noticed. Some more Wim Hofy, if you know who I mean by Wim Hof, the Iceman, and others more gentle, but realizing the power of noticing their breath and how that helps them come back into the present moment. And of course, that's what we're being invited to do this morning, is to try and be present with each other. It's such a hard thing, isn't it? With the busyness of life, everything that's coming at us and all the thoughts and emotional feelings that we have running through us. And yet we do know that when we get to find a bit of presence, we're much better at connecting with what's in front of us, whether it be a person or a situation or a place. And of course, if we can connect to someone, including ourselves, we've got a better chance of hearing what they have to say. And that's helpful because generally means our response is a bit more useful, not just about us. And I've noticed, at least in my life, is that when I'm present, I have a lot more energy in my system because I'm not using it up in other ways. So maybe just invite you all this morning to think about that idea of presence and to hold on to it as we go through the next 20 odd minutes and see if you can keep it alive for the rest of the day. What does it mean to stay present with all that we have in front of us? So with that in mind, I'll ask you all just to settle in your chairs, get yourself comfortable, back up, either sit against the back of the chair or sitting so you feel firm and solid. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. Just slowly start to breathe in, start to imagine the air popping into you, coming into your lungs, down through your nose or your mouth, however you choose to bring the air in. No right or wrong today. And bring it down and into your belly. And just start gently breathing and noticing what is it that's allowing you to be present here now. Is it my voice? Is it the knowledge that you've got some space? Or maybe you're not present because you're thinking about what you've got to do next, or what you've just done, or the list that's popping up in your mind. And just remember, they can pass. Just let those thoughts and emotions blow through. The energy that you hold within you can be used in many ways. And really, ultimately, it's your choice. How do you choose to use your energy today? So as you're breathing in, settling, resting, let's imagine all of us sitting in a circle, this lovely small group of human beings who found each other on a spring Wednesday morning in at least London for me. And imagine us in a circle, wherever you like. Maybe it's with Clive in the south of France, somewhere nice and warm in the beauty of that part of the world. Perhaps Ollie, it's down near you, down by the coast. Or Nicole and Chilpa, in that amazing country that's India. But imagine us together, sitting, and feel the other people here. Try and energetically imagine those other members of our circle all sitting alongside us. Imagine how would you connect that person with your eyes closed? How do you let your energy flow out of you? Like it's sort of creeping along in a soft, maybe the idea of a mist perhaps coming out of your heart. Imagine it coming forward, coming to the side. Imagine all of us having the same experience. Imagine that mist beginning to intermix, so the heart electromagnetic waves of energy that we know exist. We have so much evidence that our heart's energy field, when we're calm and equanimous and feeling well and happy, can be upwards of 6 or 7 feet. Can you believe? When we feel low and cross, and upset, full of fear, it retreats, and it's much closer to our chest, just a few inches. So imagine sitting in the circle, open-hearted, feeling safe, and connecting to those others as that mist comes out of your heart and begins to just fold into everyone else's. Imagine that center of the circle, that dancing energy, as it goes through and back to the others too. Imagine that invisible knitting. And that's what happens in our day. It'll happen as we go on the bus, go for a walk, into a shop, sit in an office. It's always happening. We are more than we see and often than we know. And part of that is our energy. And it's a gift for ourselves, and a gift for everyone around us. The question is, what is my intention with my energy today? How do I choose to use it? And of course, there are ways of bringing energy into you. We all eat, provide sustenance, nutrition. We break that down. It gives us energy. But it's only one form of energy. This pit stop we're having together this morning is another form, recharging an energetic battery that's not, maybe like a hybrid car, not the fuel you generally get from your fridge. The energy that's beyond that, energy of life, energy of connection. How often do we meet people and realize that we enjoy being around them because they help us feel better. They give us some form of energy. It may not be, and we want to go and run afterwards, but we may just feel slightly more uplifted, slightly more content, slightly more ourselves. What is it they do with their energy as they radiate? I think it was my grandmother always, when I was younger, used to talk about radiators and drains. And I think she was clearly suggesting I try to be more of a radiator than a drain. So as you sit in this circle, our hearts dancing, just have a little reflection. When is it that you radiate? And what is it that, in a sense, gives you that permission? Is it a place, a person, an internal feeling? Because we all do it. And I suspect we also all are on occasions drains. Why is that? What's happening for us? Maybe make an intention. Today, I aim to radiate, to support and nurture others Because, of course, as we know, in the nurturing of others, so we nurture ourselves. It's the beautiful gift of generosity and contribution. It always comes back home. So, just placing your intention in your heart. How do you wish your energy to be received today? And how will you notice? How will you come back to being present? To even be able to see, to feel? What are the signposts? Perhaps it's as simple as just watching the face of the person in front of you. And as we know, when they smile, it's a good hint. Are you going to have a chance to get out in nature today? Even if it's just walking to the car, or the bus, or the train, or the shop. And when you do, or if you do, what other bits of energy are out there that you can connect to? I've persuaded my 2 older daughters that when you walk past a rose, it's really quite important to stop and smell it. And now it's a bit of a game, which means sometimes it takes a bit too long to get to school or come home. But there's a lovely sense of connection there. You know, the energy of the smell of that rose. And just the joy of them being the first to see one. And of course, their inability to even reach it because they're little roses at all. What is it on your outing today that will give you energy that's outside of your room? And if you're in the room all day, if it's one of those days where it's just constant barrage of Zoom and calls, where's the window you can look out of? And the flowers you may be able to see, or just the grass, whatever. And just imagine the energy that's coming through nature to bring that alive in front of you. The extraordinary energy of sunlight, of rain, of soil, nurturing, growing, helping things just come into being. I often say life moves towards abundance. Well, that's a thing to remember, isn't it? As we all seek, I'm sure, a greater sense of abundance in our lives, at every level of what we do. Another form of energy. And then if we're lucky, and we are outside, there's the gorgeous sun. Is it going to fall on your back? Will you feel it on your forehead, on your hands? Your own version of photosynthesis as you stand. Just maybe take an extra half a minute. Just stand quietly and let it recharge you. Feel the warmth run through your body. Imagine it coming into your heart, warming from within, helping that grow. Imagine that being channeled into this circle, into these dancing hearts that we've created for this half an hour together. The sun. What else is there? As we come back in our chairs, as we think and feel into the energy of life. Sometimes I get energy by thinking about people. People I care about, people I haven't seen, people perhaps who are struggling. But there's a sort of energy of connection. Because often when I think of them, obviously I bring them into my mind if they are struggling, for a sense of care and holding and wishing them the best, maybe a small prayer. But always I find a way of imagining them as my friend, as my partner, as my child, as my family member, as my work colleague. And of course, many times it's not because they're struggling, it's just because they popped into your mind. What's happening there? What's the energy of them placing them in front of you? And sometimes, of course, when that happens, the next thing you know, we get a text from them, or we get a phone call, or we send them an email and we start a chain. What's happening there? What's the energy behind that? I often feel that intuition is an amazing form of energy. And what I notice about intuition, the energy of creating, bringing things, manifesting, bringing it out in front of me, is that if I'm in a place of presence, if I'm quiet, if I'm in my heart, it often seems to me that intuition, that creative impulse is coming not from my lived experience, not from my past and my history, but actually from a bigger stream of life. Imagine this beautiful sea of consciousness that holds us all in place, knits us invisibly into life, with access to the wisdom of life. Imagine as you go quiet, connecting into that deeper form of intuition, the energy that's about you, you bring through, you intuit, you create, and then you manifest, whatever that looks like. Conversation, an idea, a story, a product. More energy, used in so many ways. Always there to serve us, should we so choose. What do you choose? And remember, choice comes when we're conscious, not unconscious. And conscious usually starts by being aware and present and here. And suddenly, the door of life opens up and we choose to step into it. Mac, one of our wonderful members of the Sarsen community, an elder of these isles, you may have heard his lovely few minutes around gratitude that he shares in the Light app. He says good night to life as he stands on his back door every evening, having put the washing machine on and tucked the children into bed. And I notice more and more how gratitude is an energy form, a gift. Sometimes it can be felt by the other if you do it in person. Sometimes it can be just felt through the ether. Sometimes it's just felt within yourself as we stand in gratitude for what we have. I was sitting in Malaga in this retreat last week, and there was an amazing human being there, one of the mediators who for many years has tried to bring warring parties together all over the world. He was sharing stories, and at one stage he had a reflection I think really made me sit up. He said, we're on the west side of the Mediterranean, the far western side, close to Gibraltar. And if you could take a line and you just flew like a crow to the furthest eastern point, you arrive in Gaza. two very distinctly different fields. One so challenged by the pain and horror of what's happening in that part of the world, and the other sitting, healing, helping each other find a connection and energy to step out into the world. And the gratitude we have that that's possible. And how do we bring this energy into the lives of others to help heal ourselves? Because energy ultimately is also healing. It's the gift that keeps on giving. But of course, unless we heal ourselves, it's quite hard to heal others. So as we quietly finish our time together, what is the gratitude you wish to give to yourself? That healing energy of appreciation. What have you noticed about yourself in the last few hours, today or maybe yesterday, that you're grateful for within yourself? Maybe you're proud of something you did. Perhaps just grateful that you got through the day, ready for the next one. Clothes that you're wearing, the food that you're eating, the place that you're in, those that are holding you. What is that gratitude? If you pop a little bit more energy in the tank. Because of course, with the energy, we have the power to walk into life and meet it, whatever it invites us to do. Just sitting quietly, softly, our hearts dancing in the circle we created. Maybe a little nod to your imaginary partner on your right, on your left. Imagine that energy back in your heart, perhaps a little bit bigger than it was, a bit warmer. And a few more breaths into your heart. Intention of being present, of being aware of the energy you give out, of the gratitude you have within you. Bring your hands to your chest. Maybe a little bow to each of us in gratitude for the time we've given to the other. Rub your hands and slowly come back into this lovely room.